So yeah, my voice is gonna sound a little far away because I apparently forgot to clean out my airbrush the last time I used it a few days ago, and it's got a huge glob of black primer stuck in it. So just give me a second. Also, my allergies are back. Yeah, I printed out some new models, and I don't know if you can hear me very well. I guess so because you're reacting. But I printed out some new models to go along with the Custodes head that I printed, and I was gonna be like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and prime them today because that'll be a quick and easy job I can do with the airbrush on stream. And I go to look at it, and it doesn't want to act. The trigger doesn't want to work. And so, one moment. Go ahead and turn on the main camera. And so I look into it, and right now, this is a whole lot better than it looked. But basically, about halfway up, it was just black primer. So, I'm gonna go ahead and finish cleaning this out. I'm almost done. But that was not how I expected to start my morning. So I should be able to go until about 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It's 8:11 right now. So we will see if I can recover from this. Because there is just black primer everywhere in this paintbrush right now. It's in the raccoon wounds. And unfortunately, I don't have a vat big enough that I can just kind of put IPA and the airbrush in, because that's how you actually thoroughly clean out an airbrush, is you get some IPA and then you soak the airbrush in it for an amount of time, and then when you take it out you just kind of shake it off, and that generally gets most of the schmeckis out of the airbrush. But unfortunately I don't have access to that, so instead I'm just trying my best with what I have. Are those specialist vats? No, it's literally just like some kind of sealable jar that I can completely fill with isopropyl alcohol, and then drop the airbrush in it, set it in there for like, an hour or an overnight, and then pull it back out and rinse it off and shake off all the junk on it. Just basic stuff. Now the good news is I was able to get most of it out with some cheap makeup brushes, and now I'm just at the phase of the last remnants that are stuck inside the barrel, which shouldn't be that difficult. But we shall see. A Tupperware container would be enough, but I'm leery about using one of those because that means I'd be wasting a ton of IPA, because I can't just leave IPA in a Tupperware container unless it's got a really good seal. So I'd like to get something a little more robust and a little more semi-permanent than a Tupperware container, like a mason jar or something. Okay. I'm almost there. Because yeah, isopropyl alcohol is not inexpensive, or is not expensive, but it's not inexpensive either. If I'm gonna dedicate a jar or dedicate it to airbrush washing, then I want it to be a little more permanent than one use. Okay, one more wash, and then I should be good to go. And you guys will get to see my my Station Forge Corrupted Guard, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's about as good as it's gonna look until I can actually get that that IPA bath. But I think it's okay. My hands look like a mess, but I guess I can wash all that off before I head to work today. You gonna be part of the Nurgle lads? Kind of. I wanted to make a guardsman army just because, baseline humans fighting against all these horrors is really neat. But then I found the Corrupted Guard from Station Forge, and I figured that that's going to look really cool, and it'll allow me to do more gross stuff. So I decided to pivot and go towards Corrupted Guard and just use the regular Imperial Guard army rules. So it's going to be purely thematic. Since it's all religious psycho cult anyway, for the Emperor might as well be, you know, for chaos or whatever. Okay. I'm going to mute the mic in a second so I can move it back down, because right now it's... Actually, no, I think I can leave it up there. Am I coming through okay? Am I coming through clear? Clear-ish? The pro-life and death movement. Exactly. Oh man, I really screwed up this brush. Can you hear me well? Okay, because the mic is actually about 3 feet above my head right now. I didn't place it well when I first put the mic in here, because it was the only place where I could think to, but it's actually right in front of my, my vat of water that I use for cleaning up the airbrush. So, I wanted to move it out of the way so I could do that quick emergency clean. Wow, dang it. Okay. So, what I've got to play with are these guys. Now, Station Forge based their original models off of the Krieg pretty clearly. So, when they did their Corrupted Guard, they kind of went a Darktide route and made them very chaosy, Nurgle-y, and kept them as Kriegsmen. So all I'm really going to do with these guys, I found some old bases that are still usable, and I'm just going to use the models that I do have. I'm going to prime them black, get them out of the way, and then I've got this head, which I don't know if it's going to be shown very well, but hopefully you'll be able to see it better. It's a enlarged, what's the word I'm looking for? An enlarged Sisters of Battle head that was taken from a third-party vendor. So hopefully that'll look good on my shield captain. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this, and then I can get back to painting the actual Custodes. Man, I can't believe I forgot to do that. I've never forgotten to clean off, clean out the airbrush. And I'm actually using some old bases I was using for Rat Mech. Station Forge has also made what they call the Scavenger line, which is basically the Adeptus Mechanicus. But they did one version of it that was all rats, and they called them the Raticus line. So I printed some out and gave them to a friend, but he never got to printing them, and instead, or never got to painting them, and instead ended up giving me his Mechanicus line, because I helped him buy into Imperial Knights. Maybe nervous about the new job? Possibly, but I forgot to clean these out a couple days ago. So, it is what it is. And the new job's pretty straightforward. It's you know... Oh my god. It's basically just, customer service, but helping them with their technology. Let's see, did that turn out okay? Oh no, the lighting is a little funky. And that's making it hard for me to see. Yeah, no, he looks pretty good. So one of my friends is playing Helldivers, and he just sent me a text to say that the new major order from Helldivers Command is to kill 2 billion Terminids. And I don't know if you've played Helldivers or are playing Helldivers, but they did a really good job with like the Starship Troopers, Imperial Guardsman aesthetic. And one of the enemies is called the Terminids, which to me is funny as a Warhammer player. But there's a lot of very awkward implications that are meant to show that the government you're fighting for ain't exactly as benevolent as it's made out to be in the propaganda. And of course, that's wonderful, wonderful satire. Okay, let's see. And yeah, now you can kind of see their faces a little better. You can see just how Traitor Guardsman-y, how Nurgle-y they look. Okay. I'm doing too much. I did a while ago 3D print a handle that had like a long shelf on it so you could put like 5 models on it at once. Super Earth, corrupt? Yeah, I know, the pro-democracy unit is going to be at my door in a few minutes, aren't they? I mean, if you listen to some of the parts of Twitter, no, it's not ironic. It's not meant to be. It's just that people who think it is are a bunch of commies and leftists. But thankfully, that seems to have died down now that they found some other grift to run. There we go. Brush clogged again. Okay. Really nice looking plasma rifle this guy has. These were fun models to print too. They cost me, I think, a whopping 50 cents in materials to print, so I kind of dig them a lot. Building a display cabinet. I bought one from an estate sale a while ago, and I'd like to get another one. Specifically because I have so many models that I would love to put on display. I think I've mentioned it before, but at some point my dream is to have like all of the Primarchs painted up and ready to go and put them in a display cabinet. But I would also like to have like an actual diorama of a large-scale battle. That would be super neat, and I want to do that. But a combination of money and time are not on my side. Yeah, the whole family would be cool. I don't know if I care if it's 30k or 40k, or if I want both. But that is one of my goals, especially as my painting has improved, is to have the entire Primarch line in the cabinet. What might end up happening, what I might end up doing, is trying to get both the 30k and the 40k lines, but it would be like, I guess for 30k, it would be both versions of the Primarchs, you know, pre-Siege of Terra and at the Siege of Terra. And so that way the line would go like 3 deep. Early Heresy, Siege of Terra, and then 40k. And I think for Ferrus Manus, I would just take a 3D print of the 30k one and just not give it a head sculpt, because that's funny. Okay, so I guess the good news is that the brush is slowly like pushing all of the paint chunks to the front, but the problem is it's also clogging the brush. So I'm getting to deal with that fun experience right now. But yeah, for a quick print job, these turned out pretty okay. I did all my supporting and whatnot of them very quickly so I could have an excuse to paint the sister's head, or print the sister's head, but for 40k Sanguinius, a conversion of another corpse diorama? Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure I could find one. Either that, or just take some feathers from outside. Oh no. His blade ended up a little wibbly. That's okay. I mean, I guess technically the Sanguinor is supposed to be an aspect of Sanguinius, so if they ever release a new model for that, I can just use that. Though I do gotta say, one of the few disappointments that I generally have with Warhammer, maybe a Spectral Sanguinius as a stand. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. I can find a proxy for the Sanguinor, and I can print it using transparent resin. That'd be pretty good. Of course, you know just as well as I do that at some point Games Workshop is going to find a way to create a 40k variant of Sanguinius. Even though it doesn't work in the lore, they've made it pretty clear that the lore is not immutable. You know, because I think they backtracked a little on Horus's death even. I don't know how much, and I don't know how they did it, because I haven't read the last bit of the end and the death. but my understanding is that they backtracked a bit on whether or not he's actually been Thanos snapped out of existence. Okay, let's get... That chain blade looks like it'd be a hazard to carry. Okay, come on, you can do it. But yeah, I didn't lose that much time, so I should be able to still hit my painting goal for today. But the original goal was to get these guys primed up, and then continue working on the details for each of the Custodes, and hopefully get all of that put together. Because they're definitely at a point where I'm ready to be done with them. I think 2 paint jobs is enough. Blade is perfectly safe, not considering user malfunction. That is true. And I mean, they are Nurgle themed, so I don't think they would mind too much if it did, you know, activate while it was on their shoulder. But yeah, Station Forge also has a really cool line of Death Core of Krieg proxies. And they've got most of the Imperial Guardsman line proxied up, so it's really made it difficult not to just buy like $60 worth of resin or more and just print out a Guardsman army. Because they're really close. Like, they're not dead-on one-to-one conversions, but they're really, really close. Yeah, they specifically call these, like, the Corrupted Guard. Or whatever they named them. So, at some point, I'll have to print out a regular set so you can kind of see the difference. Bless me. Oh. Show off this guy now that there's not so much... I'm not so washed out. Yeah, these models are cool. I also found out that the way they designed them, like, all of the torsos have the exact same spacing. Thank you. So you can take any arm sculpt and from the line and put them on any model. So what I think I'm going to do is, I'm obviously going to have more than 10 guardsmen. So I'm probably going to print another set of the bodies. And just only print like 2 or 3 sets of the arms, so that more of them can be holding las rifles, because it feels weird having so many guardsmen using like melee weaponry. Which I guess makes sense in a lot of ways, but it feels silly to me. I'd rather more of them just be rank and file. But yeah, like, look at this guy. He's got this awesome spiked storm shield with skulls and hands all over it. He's got the crooked blade. It all looks really good. Okay, last bit of priming for today, and I actually timed that really nicely with the last bit of paint. But let's go ahead and do the shield captain's head. There we go. And then once I'm done with this, there it is. Wonder if the torso is the same dimension as the Cadian soldiers. I don't think so, but there's nothing saying I can't try. I actually have a set of old Cadian guardsmen that were given to me. And at some point, I probably ought to crack those open. I might be able to convert those actually into Corrupted Guard. Just Nurglify them up a bit. Maybe print some extra bits to make it all work. But yeah, they also have Plague Ogren, which is super neat. So there is a lot I can do with it. Come on, let's see if I have just enough to do the last head. This is another Corrupted Guardsman head. But yeah, see? There we go. Let's see if they'll show up. So yeah, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and mute again while I clean out the brush. I will be right. Okay, didn't forget to clean it out this time. Thoroughly cleaned it out. Gave it the IPA wash, gave it everything. So now we should be good to go. So yeah, this is going to be, I don't know how well it's showing up, but this is going to be the head that I'm going to put on the custodian cap that I've got. This lovely one. So I think it's actually a wee bit small, but I think that'll just look even funnier because it's going to be this tiny, tiny lady head that's horribly, horribly disproportionate in like that giant suit of armor. And I don't know if you saw it, but there was like there was a comic book that came out for Warhammer years ago, and I just found out about it recently. But they had an Inquisitor wearing Terminator armor, like giant relic Terminator armor, and she didn't actually put her arms in like the arm slots or anything. Her character just kind of sat in the chest piece like a cradle. And I don't know, but that's really funny to me. Okay, so I guess I'm now going to have to find a place to put these guardsmen because I don't have any slots to place them. Give me a second, I need to find a door. No, that won't work. No, that won't work. I guess they can fit in the Custodes door because I don't have a whole lot of Custodes to put in here. Come on, come on. There we go. Okay, I got this drawer. It's got Custodes and Sisters of Silence in it that I'm not done working with. Yeah, it was basically like a small-scale dreadnought or like a Tau battlesuit or something, with the head poking out. It was very adorable, except, you know, that character was in power armor, so they could frickin' murder you. But yeah, I know that, like, genetically, Custodes are all, you know, 8 foot, 9 foot tall super soldiers, but the idea of the head not growing to go with that bizarre gigantism is very silly to me. So yeah, there we go. There they are for now. Yeah, I really dig the aesthetic. I think it's a neat aesthetic. I don't know, we got a bunch of dudes in power armor with tiny heads. Why not have some... Oh man, I could have painted my Inquisitor. Or my Rogue Trader. Look at this guy. He's another Station Forge. And the blade snapped off, unfortunately. But he is just so... excuse me. He is just so incredibly silly looking. I just wanted to print him so I could paint him. And I love this model because it looks like everything that a Rogue Trader is supposed to look like. So, I could have primed that, but I forgot. I'll get to that later, I suppose. I think my favorite thing is that there is a... Glue a mug, he's got a handle already. Yeah, I could do that. That's a really good idea. He looks like the Rogue Trader portrait from the game Rogue Trader. There's one that's just like a Ratcliffe-looking fat dude. Give me a second. I think I sent it to a friend. So I can probably find the file. Or not, apparently, because I don't apparently send him things. That's stupid. Don't lie to me. I knew I had more. Come on. Come on. Come on, computer. Come on, computer. You're better than this. I keep forgetting this friend. They dog sit a lot when I'm out of town with my wife, and I completely forgot that he has an obsession with taking pictures of my dog pooping because he thinks it's funny. Nope, median files are just gonna be stupid. I know I've got it somewhere. Nope, that's a duck. That's a goblin pooping. He's not that much of a weirdo, it's just that he used to work in a retirement home, and there were definitely some people there that were, their mental faculties weren't all there, so sometimes he would, you know, get poop thrown at him. And it got to a point where it stopped being gross, it just started being funny. And since then, his sense of humor has kind of become very, like, sophomoric in that aspect. So the image of my dog going to the bathroom. Good morning, Sindarius. How's it going? is apparently really silly. Okay, I know I sent him these. I don't remember when I printed this stupid Rogue Trader, but I know I sent him a picture. Maybe I didn't? I'm sorry, I'm scouring for something, guys. Just give me a second. Nope, I guess I didn't. That's really stupid. Maybe I sent it in here? Not likely. Well, there are those. Oh, I found it. Okay, okay, I found it. So, oh, I lost it. Oh, I found it. I'm going to... You have to get to work now. Good luck with your first day. Can't wait to hear stories about the dumb things people do. I'm going to be in virtual training the entire time, so I appreciate it, though. I hope you have a good work day. Okay, so I'm going to post this in the general, so I can open it in a browser so you guys can see how ridiculous this is. But no, window capture. Here we go. This is a Rogue Trader portrait that you can make your character look like in the game Rogue Trader. And I think that that's pretty... Like, they have a body type for it and everything, that your character just looks like this smarmy-looking motherfucker. And it just makes me laugh at how silly it is. And, one moment. And so, it does look like Disney Radcliffe, doesn't it? But yeah, so the fact that, like, this dude exists, and someone went ahead and basically made a 3D render of that model is just absolutely killer to me. So I had to print him out, and eventually I'm going to have to paint him in that style, but today is not that day. What I guess I'm doing today is working on the facial features of... Where'd she go? Of this lady. So I guess that's what I'm going to do. And to do so, I think I'm going to start with a magenta. Let me see. I think Screamer Pink would be a good place to start, and then I'll flesh her up so that she ends up having, you know, human features. Sorry for the post-nasal drip again, guys. The my allergies or my sinuses are again being dumb. I've already medicated up for the day, so I can't do anything else. And now I just got to deal with it. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what we can do here. Hold that a little closer to the light. And all I'm really going to do is very lightly hit all of this. I don't know what hair color I want to give her, though. I think it's just going to be a straight black to keep things simple. But I'm going to start with this, like, magenta, purpley color so that she has some, like, warmth and blood under her skin. But yeah, that actually ended up covering very well. And now I'm gonna let that dry, and again, hopefully that'll bring out the details. She's got a scar on her cheek. She's got one over an eye, I believe, or one on her other cheek. They definitely made her look the Golden Girls look. Possibly. They're a wee bit older looking, so I don't know if I'm gonna want to get that same skin color. I'm actually gonna end up using Cadian flesh tone. But yeah, I need to find some STLs of that. I'm not a skilled enough modeler to do that myself, but at some point, I'm going to have a lot of fun painting up the Golden Girls looks on some Alaris Terminators. Okay. Now, unfortunately, her face taking too long to dry. I'm gonna hit it with a hairdryer. I'll be right back. There we go. That crisped it up really nicely. Let's see, where are you? You can see she's got the... You might be able to see it. She's got a scar on her left cheek, and she's got another scar going across her eyebrow. So she's definitely got some fun characteristics to make her look like she's been in a battle. Or she's been through some combat. Sniffle, sniffle. Okay, let's see. We're going to mix in the two colors right now to get kind of a blend. Taking the Cadian flesh tone, mixing it in with the Screamer Pink. And now, mercifully, because the camera is being pleasant, I can go ahead and start working on her face. Unfortunately, I've got too much liquid in the brush, and it is definitely being unkind to my brush strokes. This is one of the biggest problems with working with smaller models, with smaller faces and smaller heads, is that the moisture on your brush matters so much more. And I think it's kind of funny because one of the memes that I see a lot is that picture of like Gollum's face screwed up in concentration or focus. And it, you know, each panel zooms closer in on his face, and it shows him painting the eyes of a space marine, or the lenses. And don't get me wrong, it's not easy to do, but I feel like, especially at this point, the eyes of the Space Marine are one of the easier face details to paint. Especially when you start looking at things like Sisters of Battle faces or Cadian faces, you know? Yeah. And of course, that's definitely one of those, like, skill issue moments of mine. But, I really have gotten beyond that point of frustration. I think Space Marine lenses are one of the easiest ones to paint if you have the right brush, because by and large they're so damn big. But like trying to do Sisters of Battle faces, fuck that. They are so much smaller and so much more frustrating to try and accurately paint them there. And like this one, like, I mean, you can kind of see it, but her actual details are so much smaller than even the Custodian faces, right? And one moment. And so like even that, and I'm not trying to say like you can't complain, there's more difficult shit out there, but if you have the right brush, painting Space Marine eyes is remarkably easy, and that's where having a good tip on your brush really helps. Right, where's my brush? Because if I want to, I just press my fingers against the Space Marine and just very gently start swiping towards the fat part of it, and there you go. It's visual focus, brush control, hand tremors, brush tip integrity, hand moisture, paint load. Exactly, right? Like, I'm not trying to go on a rant to say it's not difficult, and that anyone who thinks it is difficult is wrong, because it is difficult, but I feel like, I guess because of what I have chosen for myself, it's become a non-issue for me. But yeah, having hand tremors to do this kind of stuff, I feel so... my heart goes out to people who want to paint in the hobby and don't have a steady grasp. Because, like, honestly, I don't feel like I have one either, but, I mean, you can watch me on stream. Excuse me, sorry. I'm not going to say that my hands are shaky. At least not anymore. They used to be. But you can kind of mitigate that, too. I'm lucky that you have pretty steady hands. Yeah, right. I think something that ends up happening is, I've done this long enough that there's a technique. As you can see, I've got, like, every one of my fingers crammed up on this thing. So, it's really doing a great job of helping steady my hands. Because if I were to try and paint this without it touching, you can see my hand shaking. Like, I'm not going to have any control. But if I have, like, my pinkies pressed up against my other finger, now I have that anchor point. And my elbows are also flat on the table. So I've got that really nice anchor point that allows me to have much more subtle brush control. And I feel like that's something important to teach people who want to get into painting minis and want to level up their game, is it's all about that brush control. because it allows you to hit so many more fine details. Oh no, I've lost connection. Oh no, I've regained connection. I don't know, did we lose any footage? No, didn't lose any footage. Just lost a second of video. I lean back because of my back, and I still have my arms scrunched up right against my body to become a solid clump. Yeah, that's another thing I've seen. My buddy, one of my friends, is like a 300-plus pound farm boy. And leaning over, hunching forward kind of is not good for him. And so he tends to lean back and rest his hands on his stomach. And if that works, cool. I'm glad that you found something that works for you. Because otherwise, painting can be kind of a painful hobby to do. Okay. She's still kind of got that purple undertone in her hair or in her skin. So what I think I can do is move away from the magenta and into just this straight Cadian flesh tone, this like rosy brown, and really start pushing the highlights. Can't spell paint without pain. I know, right? Way back when one of the first relationships I was in, it was with a young lady who generally dressed very casually, you know, jeans and a t-shirt, but every now and then she wanted to feel cute, so she would wear like high heels and platform shoes. And she did also complain about like her feet hurting or her back hurting. And I would ask her, if your feet hurt and your back hurt, why do you wear these things? And she would just say pretty blankly, pain is beauty. And that always made me a little bit sad. Because I don't feel like you should have to be in pain to feel pretty. But if that's what made her happy, then that's what made her happy. Okay, getting closer to a human color. She's definitely a lot more dour than I meant her to be. I think it might be because of how the lips got painted. But that's okay, it just makes her look more no-nonsense, right? Okay. Pain is fashion, beauty shouldn't need suffering. Yeah, that's what it was. Pain is fashion. Thank you. Okay, so... let's go. What am I getting a bing bong? Oh, yeah. I need to get a picture for my checkbook so I can get my routing information done so I can get direct deposit for my paychecks. Actually, no, I don't think I want to go into this khaki. I think what I want to do is go into pale sand. Okay, so mixing up some Vallejo pale sand, which is like my favorite color because it's just such a nice off-white. But I'm going to mix this in with the Cadian flesh tone to try and bring some highlights to this face. And hopefully that'll be enough to really start drawing some defining characteristics on her head. Dana Hale, pale sand? Exactly, she's the one who put me onto it. Her videos using pale sand have been consistently phenomenal and convinced me that it is a really ideal warm white to use. I also appreciate her like cross YouTuber videos with Midwinter Minis, where he'll mention pale sand and then she'll just have a single clip of her being like, "Did somebody say pale sand?" I thought that was very funny. And if I recall right, didn't she work with Army Painter and help create essentially a pale sand equivalent for their new Fanatic line? They were into beige, like Army Painter Banshee Brown. I know she helped with their speed paint line, but I couldn't remember if she contributed at all to their Fanatic line. But yeah, she's a heckin' good painter. I love how that since she comes from a more artistic background, her paint jobs always look like utter chaos until she's nearly done with them. Because
her brain knows where it's supposed to go and how it's supposed to end. And so that allows it to have an incredibly lengthy, like, I'd call it an ugly phase. I don't think she had anything to do with the Fanatics who mentioned it. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, all of her paint jobs just have this element of chaos that makes them look so messy until she kind of hits that last level of highlighting and layering. And then suddenly, it all comes together. And I think that that's absolutely beautiful. Okay, there we go. Now we got a face. The next thing that I'm probably going to have to do with a magnifier, because my eyes just aren't good enough, is exactly that, get her eyes. Hopefully I'll be able to. But I guess today is not that day. I just wanted to go ahead and paint the face up and see how it turned out. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is, as best I can, I'm going to try and highlight the scars on her face. Her sketchy, scratchy style gives me the confidence I don't need to focus on perfect blending, and I can just be good enough. Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's not trying to enter Golden Demon or anything. She just, and it makes her stuff look really distinct. Okay, that might have been a little bit too much moisture there. But yeah, I really like Dana Howell's art style. I like how she paints. Okay. Her video when she first did her Indomitus Marines, and she did them in the style of the Carcharodons or the Street Sharks or whatever you want to call it. That was incredibly inspiring. Because it was like one of the first videos I saw where I was just absolutely blown away by what you could do with a 40K Mini. Okay, I seem to have lost the scar on her cheek, so that's just where it's going to have to be, I guess. Okay, I've also got this guy that I can work on. He's eventually going to be the face of a second Trader Guardsman sergeant, so I think I'm going to go ahead and paint this up while I'm at it. He's got all sorts of horns and creases on his face, and I didn't realize it, but even his head is bigger, so he should be much easier to like draw the details out of. Yeah, I thought she did too. Now, I will say sometimes her style doesn't super vibe. I'd like the approach with layering primary colors and just blending them onto the model. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, is she's really, really good at that. Like, I know it's probably not her jam at all, but I would love to see a model that she would dedicate a whole lot of time and effort to try and make it into, like, a competition piece, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying she has to try and enter it in Golden Demon, or even try for that style, but I would love to see what one of her models would look like if she dedicated, you know, 15 to 20 hours on a single model. Just out of curiosity. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to print out another set of these Trader Guardsmen. I'm probably going to make more of them have just regular las rifles, so I can distribute it more evenly across the two squads. But I'm also going to just use this other head that I printed out and slap it on their sergeant, so that way I don't have to print out like a whole nother head for the sergeant. Okay. I can't tell where this dude's face or mouth is supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be yelling, but the way it printed, it really just looks like he's baring his bottom row of teeth at me. Okay, let's go ahead and hit that. Hit his brow ridge. Hit the brow ridge again. So, on kind of a fun note, I should be finally going to a painting night that my local game store holds. Every Thursday they try and offer a paint together setup. And I've been meaning to go for like a month. But my wife wants to go. And yeah, the Warhammer community is really starting to grow in this area. And I really appreciate it. One of the older stores that I personally like a lot more, because it feels a little more like local game story. They used to hold tournaments and whatnot, but they realized that the player space just wasn't conducive to it. And it was kind of horrifically loud and crowded and very stressful. So they stopped. And they only allow casual play now, or like self-managed tournaments. So it feels like the Warhammer game kind of died a little, like the community. And one of the other stores that's a little more centrally located decided to finally get into Warhammer. And that's led to a whole new group of people joining the hobby, especially since they're doing nothing but escalation leagues. Okay, so for the highlight of this, instead of going with the warm pale sand, I'm going to mix it up a bit, and then we're going to look at Rakarth flesh to add to the highlights off of the Cadian flesh tone. And then I'm probably just going to be a cheap ass, and I'm going to wash the entire thing using Rakarth flesh shade or something. So that way there's a nice little marriage of color there. But I want this guy to look more gaunt and pale and kind of desiccated in comparison to our lovely lady Custodes. But yeah, I've wanted to go for a couple weeks. I actually have he's a former student that was in the tabletop gaming club that I helped sponsor. And he's the one who I did the Lionel Johnson model for. He's very new to the hobby and is very rough with his painting, like still learning, and he's seen how I can paint and wants some pointers and some guidance, so he wants to go to one of these things and just kind of learn from me. And so I've been meaning to go for a couple weeks, but every time we try and go, something comes up. Whether it's a health issue or just a timing issue. So my understanding is that my wife is coming back from a trip she took down to North Carolina today, and I'm getting off of work at like 5, so I plan on coming back here, loading up the car, and we're just going to head over there after we eat real quick. This is infinitely more corpsey looking, and that's exactly what I want. You got that color for this guy, and you got that color for this lady. Corpsey, alive. Corpsey, alive. And I think, just because this is going to get washed back down, I am going to go ahead and do a little bit of a brighter highlight using the pale sand. Just on like the brow ridge. On the nose, a little bit on the cheekbones. And hopefully that's not going to frick with the colors too much. But it will definitely make everything look a little brighter. And it did! Cool, cool, cool. So I think I'm officially done with these for now, until I can get a hold of a magnifier. The next thing I need to do is get out a brown, so I can start doing the leather bits on the Custodes. Hopefully that'll look okay. I've got about an hour left. I need to log off at about 10, and then start getting ready to go to work. Okay, I don't need that anymore. That can go away. What do we got going on in here? Nope, that's not what I want. I'm going to head on over to Twitch and see if anyone's online. No one is online. That's fine. Don't need anyone online right now. Okay, first things first. Legs. Let's get the leather on the shield captains. Well, actually, no. I'm also going to need a black, won't I? Because I need to do some of the cool cabling they've got going on them. Speaking of Primarchs earlier, do I have a Dorn? Not an official one. There was a 3D sculptor whose stuff is now hidden because he's worried about the Games Workshop DMCAs, which makes sense. He did a proxy of the Horus Heresy Rogel Dorn, and I bought it, and then not immediately, but pretty immediately found the 3D print of the text-to-speech Dorn's head, and I put that on there. And he's more recently upgraded his Rogel Dorn to be a little more appropriate to the model, because it is off. It's not perfect. So, let me see if I can find it. So I'm probably going to reprint that out and do it entirely in non-metallic metal, because I'm a madman. There it is. That's a good picture of it. But yeah, no, I still want to buy an actual Games Workshop Forge World Rogel Dorn and own it. So here is the proxy of the Rogel Dorn. Again, there are details that are wrong and that are off on the Mini, but I think it looks really cool. So, and it was a chance for me to own Rogel Dorn without spending $140. So I really wanted it. But yeah, what I'm probably going to do is, they did a better job with the default face. His original sculpt wasn't that great. And they made a lot more of the details more accurate to the original sculpt. So whenever he releases that for purchase or download or whatever, I'm going to download that. And I'm going to try and do it entirely in non-metallic metal. And we'll see how good or bad that looks. Okay, so back to these guys for a minute. Let's first get some of the cabling done. I really wish I had done a better job getting rid of the mold lines, because especially since these are dry brushed, they're really showing up. You got the method to do the armor. I'm not going to do it with this style. This is a very rough non-metallic metal gold. If I'm doing Rogel Dorn, I'm going to make him like flawless. So I'm going to go in real hard and do it all by hand and be as excessive as I can with it. And then I'll probably use Reboot Gilliman's data sheet, and I'll just play Rogel Dorn as an Imperial Fist Primarch. Okay. Now, one thing I do need to do here, apparently, is go back over all the spots that I accidentally dry brushed into and get them back to a default black so that colors on them will in general look okay, like be consistent across the model. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, and all of that. I forgot about his body glove. Gonna have to repaint all of his body glove back down to that default midnight black. So that we can have those distinct parts of them to make them just a little bit more visually diverse than shades of gold and brown. So I have a feeling this detail work is actually going to take me longer than the dry brushing stage, and that's perfectly okay. Actually, no, I think the larger brush will be okay for this. You are a bit ruined, but that's fine. Okay, there we go. Get the strapping on his leggies too. And actually, let's go ahead and get the belt. There we go. Get that little strap right there on the belt. I really like the Chemical Plant Zone music from Sonic. I think the original artist absolutely nailed it, and so the remixes of it are always banger. Okay. Let's actually go with a magenta for the handles, because I think the magenta will pop real nicely against the rest of the model. Because normally the Custodes have those like bright red banners to go off of, and I don't get a lot of that with these guys. I'm actually going to end up doing Aquilin shield, so they're all going to have purple accents, but that's going to be fine. Okay, next into the brown, which will now read a little darker. Actually, no, that's the wrong thing. So I see the Cat Jam one posted a lot, but I never actually get to see the Cat Jam emote. It always just comes through as Cat Jam. And I know which one it is. It's the cat that's just kind of nodding with its eyes closed. But I do find that weird. Is it because there needs to be an extra extension attached to Twitch that I'm just not aware of? Forgot about that. Red Velvet is an effect you want to try sometime. That would be a really cool effect, and also a really difficult one, so good luck, sir. I think you might just need to do a lot of stippling. I'd have to look at that, because I think with the way Red Velvet looks, it's many microfibers, right? So I think that if you just like do a dry brush to get that powdery effect, and you really dry out the brush before you do it, it should look okay. The extension is called BTT, Better Twitch TV, to connect it to your channel browser. Okay, I'll have to look that up then, because I remember that being mentioned during Doig Swift, and me just not thinking to do it. I think it was Doig Swift. It was someone's where they could see certain, or they couldn't see certain emotes. And I know that, if I remember right, BTTV gives you a lot more extensions and a lot more emotes. So I'll have to play around with that. Okay, a little bit in there. Okay. We did talk with Doig about it? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, now I'm going to mix a little bit of this pale sand in to create a highlight color, which will hopefully not be too bright. You can get 50 emotes, be the ones you upload yourself, or global ones from others you can pick. Neat! I'm eventually going to have to talk to QB about helping me do some emotes, because other than the miniature painting stuff, I am not super artistic, so the idea of having to do my own emotes terrifies me. And given that I just recently got a part-time job, I'm not in a position to really pay someone to do it. So I'll have to, like, pay her. And hopefully that will work out. Okay, let's add some black into the magenta and see how dark I need to really get this. Oh, it's not much different. That's fine. In that case, I'm gonna go the opposite route. We're gonna go a little bit lighter and create some highlights on the leather strapping. There we go. And I think I'll eventually have to do like the gems and whatnot, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to worry about all the other bitty bobs. Where's this? There he is. Oh, this one's going to be a mess. I love the shields, the Presidium shields, but I also hate the Presidium shields because they are so freaking elaborate. I might be able to get away with a rough dry brush of a metallic texture, but I'm scared because I don't want to mess up what I've already done on here. I guess if I had been really smart, I would have just done them entirely in gold. I can imagine something like this, but it's painting a yellow mini. Give me a second. I'm doing some very tiny bitty bobs. There we go. Let's see what you got for me. Yeah, something like that. Honestly, I imagine it to be more like the one of Onsta holding Sonic Worm and she's shaking it violently. Can I look at my emotes on here? I don't think I have access to the Sonic Worm one just because I'm not subscribed to Onsta anymore. Oh, they don't have it on here. Oh my god, are the noise whip ones? That's okay. Because sometimes that's how it feels with my mini painting, is I'm just shaking stuff violently and it's turning out somehow. Let's see. I want that to be a darker brown. I want the gauntlet to be a darker brown. Oh my goodness. Paint shaky. Yeah, that's a good idea. I could do that while making him hold a non-Citadel proprietary pot of paint. Which is, of course, just going to be a Citadel pot of paint. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely where things are going to get weird, because it's just like, what part of this do I paint? Though the goal here is to just make the vambrace look distinct enough from the rest of the mini. Uh-oh. Lost connection again. Oh, got connection back. It's weird that it keeps dropping the physical connection to the camera. Because... oh, lost it again. One moment, I'm gonna troubleshoot this. We're just gonna put this up for a second while I try and figure out what's going on with my phone camera. Because I shouldn't be connected. No, I know that already. That's good, that's exactly what I want. I'm not connected anymore because I just disconnected. No, the wires are all solid. It's hanging from a thing on a rafter above me. And it was all working fine. There we go. I think it's because I keep getting texts. Main camera. Nope, the VPO needs to be there. There we go. Hands, good. Okay. I think it's just that it keeps getting texts, and the texts are kind of shocking it. Too many doggo poops. Yeah, tell me about it. Nah, he's not house sitting for me right now. He's actually at work. Because the buddy who does that for me is a teacher colleague that I kind of became friends with outside of work. And if I remember right, today is like Wednesday? Because time lost its meaning once I stopped working for the school system. And I believe he's at work. Actually, you know what? Let's do something wild. I'm gonna go with this magenta for the cape. Actually, no, I can't. His cape is not red. Thursday. Okay, thank you. That's right. Because Thursday is painting day. I'm gonna have to go a dark purple for the cape, and then work my way back up to a lighter purple. That's what I need to do with this thing. But yeah, see, time has lost meaning to me. I don't have a regular pay schedule yet, and I haven't had regular work hours for like 2 months. Okay, eventually... oh no! Oh no! Help! Eventually, I'll get back into a rhythm, but today is not that day. Come on, get in there. There we go. There's actually not much to do on this guy because most of it is other colors. So, I'm done with that one, I suppose. Let's move on to you, other shield man. You're both bits, so I'm gonna have to do the shield and try and dull this back down so that I don't have all these gold highlights on it. And then I'll at some point go back with a non-metallic metal and hit all this stuff again. But yeah, life gets really weird when you're unemployed in terms of trying to remember time. There we go. I'm going to do black on the clasps. I'm kind of happy that stage is over for now, and that I at least have some kind of work until I can find something that pays better. But, like, it was a strange place to be able to catch every Doig Swift stream. Because, A, they were streaming a bit later, and B, I didn't have anywhere to be. So, hopefully, this job ends up working out okay, and I can just hang on to it until I can find something a little bit better. Okay, I think that's why I eventually forced myself to give myself daily tasks that went across the whole week so I could have some order in my life. Hey, Kieran, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. How are you doing? Yeah, I did have that because I was training for that certification, but to be honest, I kind of got really burnt out on training after doing what was a 6-month course in 6 weeks, so I haven't really looked at it since, even though I still need to. I need to continue with my certification courses. So I am painting these Custodes. I don't know if you saw in the lore, but the newest Custodes rulebook is hot garbage, which sucks. But it does have a story in it about a female custodian. And they have decided that female custodians have always existed in the history of the Imperium. So this isn't some, like, new crazy, new technology. Not long back at the wheel from lunch and probably going to be working and lurking. Hope y'all doing well. Well, I'm going to be leaving in about 40 minutes because I've got to get ready for work. But yeah, they have a story. They have two stories. They have one for an Alaris Terminator captain, custodian woman, and they've got one more particular for a custodian who is participating in the Blood Games. And it picks up with her commandeering an Imperial vessel. And for her attempt to win the Blood Game, she is going to drop a cyclonic missile into the throne room. Like, she's just going to teleport it there and let it detonate. Which is the funniest thing I've ever heard. But, she ends up getting stopped because one of the crew members on the ship has, like, a moment of, oh god, we can't do this. And then, like, tells a shield captain who teleports onto the ship and tells the female custodian, cut that shit out. Well, yeah, the Blood Games are supposed to test the security holes on Terra to the Imperial Palace, and apparently she got far enough to be within an hour of the Imperial Palace to drop a cyclonic missile into the throne room. So I think her test was very successful. And but yeah, so there are a whole bunch of reactionaries who are very upset that they've changed the lore and now there are women Custodes, and there are a bunch of people who are really excited that they changed the lore and now there are women Custodes. I'm ecstatic because, get a cyclonic missile. Well, I mean, it's one of those things, right? The worst thing you can do for security is think that something is impossible. And the biggest thing about it is that she got close enough to do it. She was almost successful. It took a single officer on the ship to have a panic attack, and finally call the principal. Gilliman's back. The lore's been changed for a while. Thank goodness. I love that the city's actually getting some forward momentum. Yeah. Also, they took the Emperor's Children out of the new codex for Chaos Space Marines. Henry, you have a good day at work. I'm gonna get back to Elden Ring grind, working to get a Naginata and make myself a Custodes build. That's awesome. Why did I not think of doing that? I recently got into Elden Ring, Kieran, and it was on Doig's suggestion. And I want to emphasize, I am utter dog shit at the Soulsborne games. I played Demon Souls and was bad at it. I played Dark Souls and was bad at it. I played Bloodborne and was bad at it. I've never beaten any of them. I've barely gotten anywhere. But watching Secret Sleepover Society play through Dark Souls 1 made me want to do that. So I downloaded Elden Ring, and now I'm bad at that. But yeah, I want to get the scythe, and I want to make a Mortarion build, which is going to be like all durability and scythe. But beyond that, I'm just painting up these Custodes. I did a dry brush non-metallic metal on them, and I think by and large it turned out pretty good. And so now I'm just kind of working on the details. My roommate and I are doing the seamless co-op mod, which is so much fun. I want to try and do that. I need to find someone to co-op with. I'm just happy I got back into the hobby just in time for your Primarch to wake up. Yeah, that Lionel Johnson Primarch is so freaking good. He's like as you guys saw, he's a lot of fun to paint. I had an absolute ball painting that guy. I don't remember, Kieran, did you see the Lionel Johnson I painted for Community Day? It was for a client, actually, a former student who's getting into 40K. He bought into the Dark Angels and got himself a Lionel Johnson that he wanted to look really good. So he paid me to paint him and wanted me to paint it as close to the box art as possible. And so now I have a lot more confidence in my painting abilities because I feel like I got really darn close. And thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's right, because you were there when I was talking about entering Golden Demon. I got the model finally. So, what I'm going to be painting for Golden Demon is, this one. I don't remember if I showed this to you, but I'm really excited to paint this up. I'm going to put like a special effect on it so that it looks like a bunch of artillery and missiles are trying to hit it, but an invisible shield is protecting the Triumph. So yeah, that's going to be a fun model. I keep hearing that it never scores well because it's such a mess of a model and there's so much going on that judges just don't like it. And I really don't care. I'm not going to win. I'm going to see my miniature in a cabinet, right? In like a display cabinet that everyone else gets to see. I also have already painted my miniature for Community Day again. And I don't remember if I showed you that one either, but I did this one for Kurzek. Because I figured I've done a model for Onsta, I've done models for Doig and Swift. It makes sense for me to just continue along and doing models for the Doig and Swift staff. And so I figured, yeah, it's more for myself than the judges. I figured I would do one for Kurzek. So I went ahead and found and then painted a Ludwig the Holy Blade diorama that's like a foot tall. And my submission is going to be a sped up video of the process. Yeah, if you want to see it, I can show it to you in a second. Just let me finish doing some of the details on this dude. And, because right now I'm just kind of doing the broad strokes. I was really impressed with how it turned out. It was not as difficult a model as I expected to paint, but it was really freaking neat. Oh, let you wait till Community Day? Okay, that's cool. I can do that. Yeah, it's a really good model. It's a really good model. I spent a good amount of money on it. This is probably the most I've spent on a single model, but it was worth it because between 3D printing the base, which took 24 hours on an FDM printer, and printing the individual bits for the body, it's a super cool model. And I think my paint job did it justice. And I hope that Kurzek likes it. My next thing, I gotta figure out what to do for Pal and Martina. Because I'm not as well versed in the things they enjoy. But I'll find something. Okay, a little bit on the ankle, I'll clean that up later. No, I don't like this. I also just on a whim bought myself one of the stupidest 40k models to come out in the past year, and got him painted up too for funsies. I think we've talked about it before. Have you seen the Sidonian Scatros? It is a AdMech model that is meant to be like a sniper, and they leaned full into the ridiculousness for this model. The Sidonian Scatros, it doesn't even have a good pose. It just looks like a super goofy piece, and because of that, it's one of my favorite pieces. Okay, so the whole thing about him is he's supposed to be elevated, and he's supposed to be like stalking amongst the mists created by the swinging sensor that he has, so you can't really see him until he's already shot your head off. But this is the lad. This is the Sidonian Scatros. And I love this model. It's so stupid looking. They tried to present it as like really straightforward and really powerful when they revealed the model, but it's like, come on, you put a dude on stilts and gave him stupid glasses. I love this guy so much. I'm so inspired by painting this one. I'm going to 3D print 2 more, since you can have a maximum of any 3 named units on the battlefield, and I'm going to give them the other gun that's really good at shooting vehicles. And then it's just going to be like 3 rednecks on stilts plinking at people and cars. But yeah, I love this model. I was not expecting him to be as fun to paint as he was. Yeah, Games Workshop is really eating good right now. Their models and their model lines are just absolutely beautiful. And dumb. And very dumb. And I love it all. Okay. I'm going to continue working on this. So when I first painted these guys, I made the mistake of thinking that their vambraces were also just golden armor. And it was really overwhelming in terms of just like visual appearance. It made it so all of the Custodes were just these huge blobs of really badly painted non-metallic metal. And I hated it a lot. So the fact that I found out later that they actually were leather has made this infinitely more enjoyable. And yeah, the fun is very welcome. It kind of goes back to that whole thing about Games Workshop initially being goofy and tongue-in-cheek with their humor. So seeing them do it again just warms my heart, because the worst thing they could do is take themselves too seriously. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna wait for that to dry. I'll probably do another layer. Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can angle shoot this thing, because I can see his vambrace even if I can barely reach it. I'm just gonna hit that with a brown coat. Yeah, there we go. Is there any... Oh yeah, I need to continue hitting his body glove with the black. Because again, these models look very samey if you just let the gold flow through them and nothing else. But yeah, this dry brush of the non-metallic metal did not take anywhere near as long as non-metallic metal should. The first time I worked on these guys, if I were doing each one of them like non-metallic metal by hand and all that stuff, I think each model took me about 4 to 5 hours, if not longer. And you can ask Dark Volt, but I was able to go from like a brown base coat up to this highlight in maybe 4 hours across 4 models. So the speed painty system that I came up with has been very nice. And while I'm obviously not going to win any Golden Demon competitions with this speed paint of the non-metallic metal, it made it so that I didn't have to rely on metallic paints, and it ended up looking pretty okay. Yeah, let's see. So I think... Let's go ahead and do another layer of the brown on this guy. Yeah, I think I haven't seen anyone else put out anything for like a speed painted non-metallic metal gold, so I might go ahead and do that on the YouTube, just because I feel like people want that look, but they don't know how to get started. So it's not difficult. It's really easy. So I'm probably going to do that at some point. Oh no, I didn't get the little black straps on the armor. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. On the tubes as well. I actually raided into another hobbyist last night, and he was kind enough to show off my models, and I felt real bad because apparently he hates Custodes models. He thinks that they're awful. And I get it, because they are a lot of gold to try and paint, and they have a lot of little fiddly details, so if you're not into that, it can be absolutely frustrating to paint. But I don't know. I think they're neat. I think they did a good job making each one feel as important as the other. Because every one of these feels like I'm painting a character model, you know? Okay. That guy is done for now, because I'll hit the rest of that stuff later. Spearman is next. And we're gonna... Oh, he's got a spear, so I don't have to worry about that darn Presidium shield. That up. That's pretty rude in my opinion. Just because he doesn't like the Custodes doesn't mean he needs to keep mentioning it before reacting to your paint job. He tried to... I don't know if you were there to see it, but he tried to be polite about it. Like, you know, this has nothing to do with your paint job. You did a phenomenal job, blah, 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 but I hate the Custodes. And it's like, yeah, I guess that was an opinion he could have kept to himself. He seemed to be a little grumpy, which I felt bad for, because that grumpiness seemed to arise from just people jumping in, trying to advertise their shit and leaving. And I definitely get how that can be really demoralizing as a content creator and as someone on like Twitch. So I feel bad that they've kind of pushed him to that. Or like that's become how he's had to respond to people in bad faith coming to his channel. Like, generally I'm already on the way out, so I can't really stick around, but yesterday I figured since I had nowhere to be, I was going to chill for a bit and check out his stream. And obviously also raiding in to try and help him with his viewers and his subscription count. But that is the one thing I dislike about Twitch, is that since it is somewhat of a Wild West, that too many people are like aggressively advertising on other people's channels, and that just feels awkward and weird. Yeah, it does. I was waiting for the hammer to fall, and like what he was gonna say to make me feel bad. You know what I mean? It kind of smacks of, you know, I know this is gonna make people mad, but... And I'm thankful it was more a comment on the design of the model itself than on anything I did. But it was just a little bit anxiety-inducing, waiting for him to choose how he was going to say make a hot take. He also apparently doesn't like the Sisters of Battle. I think he doesn't. He eventually kind of turned around on him because he got to paint a couple, and he was like, "No, never mind. I'm a little less negative about them." But it just sounds like he doesn't like painting complicated models. And I mean, he was batch painting some Space Marines yesterday, so who knows? I don't want to talk bad about the guy because he's very clearly trying to do a lot to grow the hobby. Like, he's putting out beginner videos, he's trying to engage the community. He has a day specifically for people to show off their stuff, like a community day. So, I don't want to like say, you know, this guy's a jerk or anything. He's doing what he can. He also happens to skew a little older, so that might have to do with a bit of his curmudgeonly perspective. But what that means is my new job is to constantly show up with Custodes models. Just paint them a whole bunch of different colors and watch him fly into a rage about it. Okay, let's go ahead and get that. Yeah, I'm not going to finish the detail work today, which is fine. I really shouldn't have set that ambition. Okay, what else can I do? Oh, did I do the thingies on the thingy? No, I didn't. I keep forgetting they've got these little, like, shoulder tubes. You've entered a trap of your own making. An entire non-metallic metal Custodes, no boys allowed. Exactly right. I mean, I did pull Alea and Valerian out of the display cabinet, specifically to try and redo their non-metallic metal. Because, especially for them, I don't think I did a bad job, but I definitely have learned a lot about how to be better with the blending and whatnot since then. And since they're my two HQs, I want to make them better. They're going to get the full hand paint job. Each of those are going to take me like a week to do. In fact, do I have them with me? Yeah, I do. They're back here. One moment. Like, this is the old job that I did for the Custodes. And again, it's not bad. It's fine. It's a little too dark. The blending ain't that great. But for like a first try and a first run of non-metallic metal Custodes, I think they look pretty okay. I don't know how his face ended up looking so incredibly, like, arrogant. The head needs to be smaller. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna, just because you said that, I'm gonna download a 3D scanning program, scan his head, and then shrink it down to half size. And then here's Valerian, or Alea, and kind of the same problem. I only kind of knew what I was doing, so it looks fine, but it could be better. What I do like is I did a really good job on the cloak. But yeah, I'm gonna redo these guys at some point. Completely strip them down and make them look beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, let's go ahead. Yeah, you can see the difference. Yeah, there is definitely a jump in skill since then. And the dry brushing technique does a better job of setting up the light, as far as I'm concerned. There we go, there we go. Hit some of that. Hit some of that. Hit some of that. I want that bright brown so that it can really stand out as leather versus just another brown material. Black. I need black to work on their body glove. No, I can't hit that with that one. I'm going to hit that with that. I think, by and large, I've already hit most of this guy, so... Oh yeah, I gotta hit his little leg dealies. Little leggy straps. I actually found a 3D scan someone did of the custodian bodies. Now I just need to find scans for their arms, wielding their different weapons. And then I can do 2 more spear, 2 more shield, or whatever. And I can give them all female heads. And then no one will be able to stop me. Okay, I think that's all of the black that I really need to put on this. And go ahead and mix some more of the brown in with the pale sand. I did not rinse or wipe down the brush, so that is really wet. And let's... Skill different happens. I only allow to retouch a paint job if I use painted parts to make a new model. Yeah, that's fair. I have a bad habit of looking at my previous paint job and not being happy with it, so I strip the model and do it again. And that's why I've repainted Torgaradon like 5 times. So I probably ought to find a system to prevent me from going back and repainting things so I don't just keep repainting the same 3 models over and over and over again. My buddy joked with me that eventually I'm not going to be able to see any of the original Torgaradon. I found some of the first minis I ever painted in my parents' basement recently. Very cool. And also, hey Grizhoot, how's it going? My new streaming time, at least for the next couple weeks, is going to have to be in the morning because they've got me scheduled to work until early evening. Pretty much every day I'm at work. But I guess that does mean I'm a little bit more amenable to your guys' hours, so I guess that is that okay? No, not Torgadon. They don't have a mini for Tarek Torgadon. I hope they will eventually. They have a mini for Torgaradon, who is an Imperial Fist captain. And he's probably my favorite Imperial Fist character because he has like the fattest face I've ever seen. I don't know how intentional it is, but it's really funny. And, here, one moment. Is this... Yeah, this is... Nope, this is... It's not that. Give me a second. No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. That's image slideshow. Window capture. Clear that. That's not what I want. Photos? Oh, you suck. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. I can do this. I can do this. That's a DMG. There we go. And let's... Okay. Yep, there. There's Torgaradon. This is the first time I painted him. It's okay. But my favorite thing about Torgaradon is that he's just got such a fat face. I'm good. I've been making some good progress on my weird Connect VTuber project. I hope it ends up really cool, because that sounds really cool. Those words together sound like they're going to be a lot of fun. So, good luck with that. I can't wait to see how it's going to turn out. But yeah, that is Torgaradon. And if you give me a second, Adeptus Ridiculous had a really, really funny take on Torgaradon. There it is. Let's see if I can mute this before it gets too loud. There we go. Okay. I'm actually at the spot. That's really good. One moment. Okay, so they're talking about the different Imperial Fist characters, right? I don't know if this is going to play through. Okay, last you saw Grizz's project, it was looking really good. I think... Did you post anything in the Doig Swift chat? Because it sounds like I've heard about this. Okay, so there we go. And let's make this bigger.
That's holding the hammer part.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
The other guy, and this is a much more recent one. This guy's name is Torgaradon.
Oh gosh, you can't see anything. Why can't you see anything? Did I do it wrong? Oh, it's because I did the window capture that way. There we go. So this is the window capture. This is them talking about Torgaradon.
And he is a chunky lad.
I was gonna say he looks fucking stupid. That picture of him looks so dumb.
He was a more recent. His mini is pretty good.
The mini's great. That other picture, he looks like bacon.
Bacon?
Yeah, it looks like he's like, I need bacon. Give me meat.
If you zoom in on his face, he's like.
But yeah, he's just got a great expression, and I really like that about Torgaradon. Hey, bacon! And so the second time I painted him, I definitely made him have a more bug-eyed, more stupid face. But, okay, where is it? Where is it? No, not that one. Not that one. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. Where did it go? I can't look at it anymore. That's really stupid. Why can't I look at it anymore? That's Explorer, Winamp, Discord. Lies and slander. I did like, I would call it a typical, oh wait, no, stop that. Window capture. I did a very typical Torgaradon, and his face really just looks like he's screaming for bacon. I know, right? Bacon is great. Bacon bits are nature's sprinkles. I'm never going to argue about that. There's a games workshop right by the BMV, so I might check it out when I get back there to get my new lights. It's very cool. I hope it works out for you. But yeah, I hope you're able to find some super cool mini. If it is a Games Workshop store, their free mini of the month is a Dark Angels Terminator. And I'll be jealous if you get it, because it's really cool. Warhammer Mini of the Month. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it because no, that's from January. Articles Warhammer 40K. Mini of the month. Yep, there it is. Okay. I want this mini. I want to get this mini. I actually want to get this mini so I can paint it up as a salamander for a friend. That mini. There he is. That's the mini of the month. So if you go there, you'll be able to get that Terminator, that really awesome Terminator for free. And you know, Terminators are expensive. So I strongly suggest you try and snag that because it's a cool mini. But yeah, that was my original Torgaradon, and I recently redid Torgaradon because I wanted him to have more contrast, since he's a leader unit, and so I definitely tried to make him stand out a little more. The knights get very well together. Yeah, they look really cool. So now my Torgaradon look like this. And this is, I think, like 3 years of painting experience, because I found out that like one of the first big projects I painted where I felt like, hey, I can do this, was actually only 3 years ago. So while I have technically been painting for 6, I didn't really start painting until about 2021. But yeah, there's the Torgaradon. There's what he looks like now. Cool looking model. I love this model. This is one of my favorite models. And he's really fun to play because he is absolutely awful against knights or against monsters and vehicles, and I mean that in a good way. He is a terror when he fights monsters and vehicles, because his fist does like 2 damage normally, and he gets 6 attacks with it or something, and it's like strength 12, but if he's fighting a monster or a vehicle, his fist does 4 damage, and he gets his 6 attacks. And he gets like 14 strength. So he goes from being an overpowered power fist to being the worst thing that your vehicle or monster is ever going to see. Yeah, one of my favorite early stories of 10th edition from an Imperial Fist player. Yeah, preferred enemy, right? Well, Siege Master. He's Siege. He does the Siege. Someone playing... Oh, wait. Yeah, does he have a Marisicord? There it is. Someone playing against World Eaters, and they stuck him in a blob of aggressors. And, Angron managed to take out all of the aggressors, but left Torgaradon alive. And then Torgaradon killed him in the clapback. So he went from full health Angron to dead because of just how powerful that Power Fist is. And that made me laugh. Did you see the Adepticon is moving to Milwaukee next year? Yes, I did, and I'm a little bit sad because that's even further away from where I live. It's only an extra hour drive, but now it is a 12-hour drive because I cannot afford plane tickets. But, I was looking at that news, and all I could think of was, oh god, I won't be able to go. I bought a mini for Golden Demon, and now I'm not going to be able to submit it. But then I saw that the actual convention center it's going to take place at is legitimately only another hour's drive away from where the old one was. So, wait a minute, did I forget to do his? Yeah, I did. So, I will still be able to go to Adepticon, you know, finances willing. But it's just going to be a slightly longer drive for me. Which kind of sucks, because a 12-hour drive is, you know, a special kind of death if you're not used to driving that long. I did that drive to go to Chicago last year because my wife got into, or QB got into, Chicago Comics and, what is it, C2E2. Chicago Comics Entertainment Expo. That's right. And, so we did the 12-hour drive, and it was kind of miserable. But, had a lot of fun just being in the car with my wife for 12 hours, to be completely honest. So hopefully, going to Adepticon will have similar results. Except less worry, because I can take more time off, since I'm paid hourly now instead of by salary. You're going to Gen Con this summer? I wish I could. Gen Con is such an ordeal, and I would love to go, but money is again the major consideration there. Okay. What I did want, I did talk to a couple friends though, and we do all want to go to Gen Con, like, just as friends, because one of them used to go as a vendor. He was part of a group that did a Pathfinder module called Pure Steam, which was like a steampunk, western, kind of hillbilly module or whatever for Pathfinder, and they converted it to 5th edition. But unfortunately, by then, their own, like, Steam had kind of run out, and they stopped working on it. And I think part of that was because of Wizards' announcement about the SRD kind of not being a thing anymore. And he told me he never wanted to go back to Gen Con as a vendor. So I was talking to him last year. I was like, hey, would you want to go just as, you know, an attendee and just get to enjoy the time there? And he said, definitely. And so we started planning that, and we were going to go in like 2 years and save up for it and all that stuff. But then my body decided, you know, it'd be really cool if you threw up every day because we don't want you going to work. Because it's too stressful on your body. And so now I don't teach anymore. Yeah, I spent many years and a lot of money trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And in trying to figure out what was wrong with me, I did find out that I have adult onset asthma. But we couldn't pinpoint why I was constantly having these nausea issues, because they only seemed to pop up when I was going to work. And it was eventually, I started talking to a therapist, and they eventually told me, yeah, it sounds like your job really stresses you out, whether you realize it or not. And so I kept trying to meet with my supervisor to take like extended leave or do something about this, but I was sick so often I couldn't actually meet up to talk with them. So I eventually just said fuck it, and told them, look, I can't do this job anymore. It's actively killing me. And that was back in February, and now I'm training to do IT, which will hopefully be good, and that's why I'm working retail at Best Buy with Geek Squad, because that was the only job I could find. But hopefully it'll turn out okay. I have high hopes because the work culture there seems to be pretty good. Though I will say it was very weird being introduced to someone who's going to be like a team lead, and them going, I know him, he used to teach at the school that I go to, or that I went to. I never had his class, but I walked by his classroom all the time. Yeah, I think it'll go okay. I can do retail. I've done retail before. I mean, it's not much, especially with what I'm doing, it's not going to be any more difficult than being a teacher. Thank you, I appreciate it. I just want to help people without having to feel like I'm going to throw up every morning. So hopefully this will be a nice way for me to do that. Okay. This Custode is... got a layer of paint on him. I can probably do more. But yeah, I actually had a co-worker, a colleague, tell me that I probably should get into IT because I'm good with computers and I'm good at helping people troubleshoot computers. And so that's more tech support, but it led me to be interested in looking at stuff like network administration and security. So I'm not sure exactly what I want to do within IT yet, but I'm at least making the steps to put out my feelers and figure out if there's some part of that world that I really get attracted to. And so I suppose we will see. And this ain't drying fast enough. Hair dry. There we go. I'm back. And then there's also the thing of me like wanting to support my wife because she's working as an independent artist right now. You guys have met her via Swift, and I think she's got good stuff, and I think she's got important stuff. So I would love to be able to, you know, help her financially until she kind of catches her big break, or at the very least is able to continue having the outreach that she does now. And if I start working in IT and I start making that network admin money, then that'll be very easy to do. But yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Right now, I'm just excited to start this new career path and see where it leads me. And also, if you guys have never played Warhammer 40k Mechanicus, I strongly suggest you do, because it's a neat game. It's not perfect, but it's got an absolutely banger soundtrack and has a really awesome depiction of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The way that they wrote the banter between some of the tech priests is top tier. And of course it has the infamous line, "Error, damn not found." Okay. I think that's good. I think I can get to a point where I'm going to clean up and continue working on some of the finer details another day, probably tomorrow. But I think 2 hours every morning is not terrible. Did you get to did I get to play Power Wash Simulator? Yes, I actually have it on my computer right now, and I have seen the Warhammer expansion, and I'm excited because I'm in the middle of washing a Land Raider, and once again, they absolutely nailed the aesthetic of the game, and it just gives me more confidence and more anticipation for the eventual Warhammer Amazon TV series, because I feel like Games Workshop has such a stranglehold on their IP in terms of how it's represented, that even if the show is incredibly mid and not that great, it will at least look... I can buy that DLC now. Do you have to buy it? I honestly don't know, because I did not acquire Power Wash Simulator legally. I gotta stop saying that, because eventually someone's gonna see my stream and I'm gonna get in trouble. It's a paid DLC. Oops! Oh well! I'll give them money eventually. Again, once I have some money, I need to buy Power Wash Simulator, and and I need to buy Elden Ring, because right now I don't have any money. Because that's how I got Elden Ring too. I can't play it online, so this is basically a glorified demo for me. But I think I've put in like 7 hours. I think it's time for me to finally pay for it. You get to watch the Rogel Dorn tank. Very cool. I can't wait to get that far. Oh, you weren't here for it earlier, Kieran, but here is the female head that I'm going to be putting on my shield captain. I still need to like fill in the eyes and whatnot, but I can't do that without a magnifier. And I also 3D printed a bunch of corrupted guard that are going to be like a Nurgle-themed Imperial Guard army from Station Forge, and I had an extra head for the sergeant that I'm going to put on another squad. So there is the head for the second sergeant. So yeah, I've got a lot of little projects. I also have this Harbinger of Decay, which is an Age of Sigmar model that I 3D printed. And I'm following Phelan Miniatures Guide, and he does this great high contrast setup. So I'm really excited with how this is going to look. It's another mini that I have to legally acquire at some point to get the real thing. But yeah, I know. Isn't this a cool mini? I love that it looks like a Frank Frazetta piece. And I know they were very clearly inspired by that. So I think this is just a friggin' cool mini. And that's why I want to buy the real thing. I'm learning a lot about blending by watching this guy's videos. So if you want to see, he does a really good job of breaking it down and making it look easy. If GW keeps bringing out Primarch tags, at some point I'll just get them all, paint them like their namesakes, and use them as proxy Primarchs. That's beautiful. I'd love to see that. They should have made Rogel Dorn a bunker. It would have fit better. If I remember right, I saw it recently. Wasn't the Lehman Russ tank named Lehman Russ because the guardsman general Lehman Russ was just so well esteemed? Yeah, they could have made a Rogel Dorn bunker or something that like could drop in like a drop pod. That would have been funny and appropriate. Honestly, my favorite thing about early 10th edition was that there was an Imperial Fist player who was colloquially nicknamed Bunker Guy. I'm deploying the Lionel Johnson deploys a tank, exactly. But he was known as Bunker Guy, and it's because when he first started in 10th edition, he ran 3 Hammerfall bunkers as part of his Imperial Fist army. And at his local game store, he was like 8-1. Because apparently Hammerfall bunkers used to be kind of wacko with what they could do. And then they got nerfed in the Codex. You think the drop pod is Perturabo? I think a Death Strike is Perturabo. Because Perturabo seems like he'd be salty enough to say fuck you, but from 6 tables away. But yeah, lots of fun there. I have a single Hammerfall bunker. I want to buy more because I want to be bunker guy. I want to have a 2,000 point army that has 3 bunkers. Okay, that being said, it's 10:03. I need to get ready and put some stuff away and take some pictures and do stuff. But thank you guys for joining me on the stream. Is anyone streaming now that we could watch? That we could throw you guys at? You got me one and it's all painted? Yeah, give me a second. I've got one over here. Oh gosh. The one mistake I made on it, it's covered in dust right now because it's been on a shelf for years. The one mistake I really made on it was I used the Army Painter yellow, so it's like a much brighter yellow, and it was one of the first big things I painted, but there's my Hammerfall bunker. I think it turned out okay. I think my favorite thing I did was I magnetized the guns. But yeah, I love the fact that it's got like the retractable limbs, so it theoretically feels like it should be able to fall out of orbit instead of having to be placed there. Still need to drill the flamers. I don't think I did, because it didn't feel like there was enough. I know, right? It's demonic yellow from Army Painter, and I think I just airbrushed the entire thing. But it ended up being an incredibly vibrant yellow. And of course, I barely knew what I was doing, so I panel lined it using a wash, and it's pretty sloppy looking, but it works. Oh no! The camera died again, I think. Nope, there it goes. There we go. But yeah, let's see. Is there anyone that I can throw you at? Do you guys have any suggestions on streamers that we can hop over to? Ouch. Because I got nothing. I think Studio J7 is available if we want to go see some more painting. Fat Shark Games is obviously streaming because they just released a new DLC. Why Sunday is streaming. I met them via Aria Silverfire. But do you guys got anyone that you can recommend? Because it doesn't look like any of the Doigswift crew is online. Where's Discord at? There's Discord at. Yeah, I'm the last one. I'm the last alert for people who are streaming, so it is what it is with that. Let's see what you got. Oh yeah, that Dark Angel's color looked good. Bam! That's a good Dark Angel's color. And see, that's something I wish I did more, was I like the red casing on the bolter. I think it makes the bolters look so much better. Like, having that extra little pop of color, first is reminiscent to the early days, but it's just so vibrant, right? It's hard to mistake it for anything else. I really like that. But yeah, I want to repaint that Hammerfall bunker. Okay, let's see. I guess we're heading over to Studio J7. Let's see what he's doing today. He sponged some bronze chipping that highlighted the underside, and that's part of why it looks so good, because sponging is a great way to put on wear and tear. I just left mine out on a shelf for 3 years. Which didn't do that great. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll see you then. So, have a good one, and bye-bye. Raid.